Hey everyone, Dominic here, bringing you another Ravening Report. So this time we have Vampire Covenant versus Orcs Goblins. This game is a little bit special in a way. The last two times me and my opponent have played against each other with the same armies, we fought out to a 10-10 draw both times. So this time we're trying to see if actually one of us can manage to come out on top here. The game type we played was Counter Thrust, with Capture the Flags as the secondary objective. Let's get started. So for my army, I brought a big unit of Barrel Guard with Full Command, Great Weapons, and the Black Standard. In that unit I have my Barrel King BSB. He's got a Great Weapon with Blessed Inscriptions, and the Destiny's Call. Behind there I've got a unit of 4 Great Bats, Shrieking Horror. I've got a big unit of 40 Skeletons with Spears, Full Command, and Legion Standard. Behind that, I have a unit of 9 Barrow Knights. I believe they've got full command. Actually, no champion in this unit or this unit. But either way, +1 movement banner. I also have the Army General, who's a Necromancer Master of Evocation. He's got the Talisman of the Void and the Talisman of Shielding. Next to that, I have a unit of 3 Winged Reapers with halberds. And over here I've got a unit of 40 Spears, Banner, Musician, and Legion Standard. Lastly, I have a Varkalak over here. For Orcs Goblins, he's got a Skewer, he's got a Giant, a big unit of Iron Orcs, Full Command, Mykonox Totem. In that unit is his Iron Orc Warlord, the General, on his Warboar, Tuktek's Guard, and I forget what weapon he's got. I think it's the one that gives him +6 AP. So behind that, he's got a unit of Common Orcs, Boar Riders, I guess. I think he's got full command in that unit. These guys are biggins as well. In that unit, he's got his Common Orc BSB on a Warboar. I'm not too certain how he was kitted out. I think he's more defensively. Over here, he's got a unit of Cave Goblins with bows. I think he's got a Banner Musician in them. He's got a unit of Forest Goblin Raiders. Behind that, he's got a unit of Common Orcs with paired weapons. In that unit, he's got his, I think it's a Common Orc. Common Orc Shaman, Wizard Master of Shamanism. Beside that, he's got a unit of Cave Goblins again. This unit's got, I think they have Spears and 2 Madgets in the unit. And lastly, to finish off, he's got a Forest Goblin King on a Gargantua Spider. I think he's got a Great Weapon and a bow. So he does a Vanguard move up here, not very far, and I Vanguard over sideways. Here's a quick look at the table before we get started. After 3 drops, I ended up just dropping to take first turn, and here we go. So I move up with the Varkalak right up front and center there, just to kind of box him in a little bit. The rest of the army is really just kind of pushing towards the center. My goal going in here was to try and focus on the weaker scoring units, namely the 2 Goblin units and the Biggins over here. I felt like I had the tools to deal with that. What I don't have the tools to deal with is this unit here, and really that's about it. Everything else I felt pretty confident against fighting. So this side, we move over the Shrieking Horror to come deal with that Gargantula, and we go into Magic. What we did is we got a Bubble Arise to gain wounds on the skeleton units, and that was pretty much it. We go to turn 1 for Orcs Goblins. So up here, he moves up pretty aggressively on this flank, brings a Spider around to threaten everything, blocks the Varkalak with the Raiders, and moves up to launch the Madgets as well. Over here, he keeps pretty defensively with the Iron Orcs, moves the Giant onto the far flank there to go and threaten it, and he goes into Magic. gets Bring the Pain off on the Varkalak, and that's pretty much it. He does launch the 2 Madgets. Luckily, he only managed to get 3 out of the 4 wounds onto him. But then he's going to go into shooting, or continue shooting at it. Shoots the Gargantula shots, doesn't do anything. Shoots the Raider shots, does 1 wound, and I save it. And then he has to shoot these guys as well. Manages to get 2 wounds out of that. I didn't save anything, so gets rid of the Varkalak. That was pretty much it. Turn number 2 for Vampire Covenant. We decided to go into a charge over here. He elects to hold. He figured I'm going to take all the wounds here. But what I saw is if I kill these guys, I'm going to overrun, and I can position against these guys over here, effectively blocking this unit out of the combat. So we get in, suffer a pile of skeletons from the Mad Gits. We move over the Winged Reapers over here to come help out with the Spider. Fail 2 dangerous trains in the forests. We block the Iron Orcs with the Great Bats. And we move over the Shrieking Horror to come deal some damage to the Gargantula. In Magic, we do Hasten the Hour, manage to knock off another wound onto it, making it potentially really dangerous for him to charge anything. And we go into, over here, we get Spectral Blades off on the Spears. We also did Danse Macabre. For whatever reason, it goes off. I didn't really need to do anything there, but we moved up, and then we saved the rest of the dice to try and do a bubble raise wounds, or rise. He had saved all his dice and just stopped it, though. Shooting, he gets really lucky. I roll the 6 attacks, and 3 ones show up. And so I only put 3 more onto the Spider. Over here, just like I figured, we wipe out the Raiders, no problem. We overrun, make it in, and just like I thought, these guys are blocked from being able to come in and help out. So that's what the table looks like as we go into Orcs Goblins turn 2. So to start, he's going to charge a Chaff. He's also going to charge that Gargantula into the Shrieking Horror. And one that I didn't see, he actually declared a charge from these guys into the flank of the Skeletons. Now, after he did move these guys in, there wasn't enough space, luckily, for them to get by, so just failed the charge there. This guy makes it in, of course, and he decided to move the other block of skeletons, or the other block of cave goblins, sorry, just towards the center here. He goes into magic, gets Bring the Pain off on the Spearman, and he managed to get +1 toughness, I believe, onto the cave goblins. In combat, he wipes out the Great Bats, no problem. Repositions just like so. Over here, we win, and he breaks. We didn't catch him, and he didn't run off the table, though. So we can just charge him off next turn and get out of arc of these guys, which is good. And over here, really surprisingly, the Spider goes in and only did 1 wound. The crew on top managed to get another one. And then, of course, the king has a great weapon. So we did the other 4 remaining wounds, 4 out of 4 to kill him. But that's kind of how the table looks like as we're starting Vampire Covenant turn 3. So like I said, we charge him off the board over here, get out of arc of the big unit. We declare a charge over here, he holds, they make it in like so. There's that. These spearmen back here, maybe I'll go back a few pictures. At the start of the turn, they declared a charge as well into the boar riders. And as you saw, they make it in. And that's pretty much it. The Shrieking Horror moves around just to continue shooting at some stuff over here. He is out of arc of sight of these guys, which I think there's a picture that shows that it looks bad, but he is out of arc. Over here, I wasn't really sure what to do. Originally I was going to try and move the BSB out of the unit and just throw this unit away, because there's nothing I can really do. He's got the Mykonox Totem, he's going to shut off the +1 hit banner, and he's got more strength. Well, not necessarily more strength, but more speed and enough damage output to wipe me out in one turn, I think. So, especially with the giant behind. What I decided on is I just positioned myself in a spot like so, and I'm going to take as much down with me. So, we go into magic. We do hasten the hour. We pick out the unit champion over here. The whole plan is I'm going to challenge his general with my BSB and see if I can kill him. And we also managed to get Spectral Blades off onto the spears fighting the Boar Riders. We did this with the big version, so they will have lethal strike. Shooting, knock off a couple orcs over here, nothing too major. In combat, we wipe out a few, I think almost 3 out of the back rank there. With combat res, we do win, but he passes his check and sticks around. Over here, we beat up on the cave goblins, and he flees. I elected to restrain my pursuit, which probably I shouldn't have. As you'll see right away here, something that I missed when I decided to restrain, but this is going to be turn 3, I think, for Orcs Goblins. So he goes into the barrow guard in the front. He charges the rear with the barrow guard. And the one that I didn't see is the common orcs are going to go into the flank over here of the spears. Everything makes it in, of course, and he goes into magic. He gets Chilling Howl off on the Barrow Knights, which is fine. He got Bring the Pain off over here, and he tried to do the +1 resilience over here, but I saved my days and stopped that one. We go into combat. The BSB issues a challenge. We fight it out. I didn't do a wound to him, or he saved it, I guess, and he did a single wound to me. We do a couple wounds to the giant, couple rank and a half, looks like, to them. But after crumbles, I'm down to about less than half strength of my unit. So over here, we kill a bunch more of the Boar Riders, but he does win, and I crumble out to a point where he is no longer engaged over here, so he pivots on the spot to face the center of the board. And we go into turn 4 for Vampire Covenant. So we declare a charge from the Shrieking Horror over here, just to try and check him off. He passes, of course. So we declare a charge from the Barrow Knights back here into them. He still holds. And the last unit, the Winged Reapers, go into the front as well. Everybody makes it in. And that's pretty much it. For movement, we just move the skeleton block towards the skewer just to grab a few more points, as well as to threaten if anything goes bad over here. The Barrow Guard are probably going to die this turn. So we go into magic. We get Spectral Blades off on the Winged Reapers. And we tried to do an Arise, which he stopped. We go into combat. He continues to beat up on me. I didn't do any damage to him this time. He managed to save it. So we're probably going to lose next round. What we did next is we did the Barrow Guard fight just to see if they did crumble, which they did, of course. He pivoted on the spot like so with his Iron Orcs. And then we fought this one. I did win. I broke him. I decided to restrain pursuit with these guys and try and overrun here. I figured that there was no matter what I was going to do, I was going to be in his arc to get him charged anyway, so we just overrun like so. Or pursue like so. We do catch him, he runs, we catch him. Then we go into Orcs Goblins, turn 4. Start here, he charges the rear of the Barrow Knights. And the giant charges the flank of the skeletons. He doesn't want to risk anything with me grabbing that scoring unit, so they make it in, of course. He's got no magic. Shooting, tries to shoot at the Shrieking Horror, doesn't do anything. And we go into combat. So what ended up happening, the giant wiped out the skeletons, no problem. These guys were still here. He wipes out the Barrow Knights and crumbles out the general. So I have to take my crumble check, a few skeletons die, another wound on the Shrieking Horror, and the Winged Reapers were fine. And then, of course, at the start of my next turn, since I have no other characters, do it again, a few more skeletons. This time a Shrieking Horror disappears, and the Winged Reapers are fine again. So, start of turn 5, what we do is we declare a charge from the spears into the boar riders, which were here. They fled, end up like so. And then what we do is over here is we charge over top of the Iron Orcs into the giant with the Winged Reapers. They make it in, the spears fail, and that's kind of how the board looks like. We've got no magic, no shooting. We go into combat, we wipe out the giant, and overrun to catch the last remaining boar riders and his BSB. The start of Orc Goblins turn number 5, he just pivots on the spot to try and come over here and scoop up some stuff. He thought about trying to go after the skeletons, but no matter which way he faced, I would just reform on the spot and go the other direction. So he's not going to be able to capture them. He decides to go after these points. He goes shooting. Does knock off a couple wounds on them with the skewer. And then turn 6, crumble out a few more skeletons and just push them back. And then push this guy as far away as possible as we could, just to see if he could fail this charge. He does make this charge, though. He does make it in. Wipes him out, and that's where we call the game. So he did come out on top 4 points this game, but after that we did manage to capture the secondary. So after another game here, hoping somebody's going to come out top, it ends up being a 10-10 draw again. So really fun game, really fun opponent. We're looking forward to the next time we face off to see if finally one of us can come out with a win here. So hope you guys enjoy the battles. Stay tuned for the next one.